This lesson gives you an opportunity to practice and analyze the responses to a full set of IELTS speaking questions. Let's take a look at how to use this video lesson. Okay, so this lesson has two parts. In part one, you get a chance to practice. You are going to hear all questions from a full sample interview. After you hear each question, you're going to see a sign like this on the screen where it says pause and speak. So at that point, you should pause the video and provide your response to the question. When you're done speaking, then you can hit play again and it will move to the next question in the interview. Now, the questions are not going to be displayed for you on the screen, except for the question from part 2 of the test. That's because in the real IELTS interview, you are not going to have the questions to read except for in part 2, right? So the best way to use this video is to try to listen to the questions and then pause your video and respond the best you can. Okay, now if you need help, look down below in the notes section. There is a transcript for the questions down there below. Okay, then in section 2, after you've had a chance to practice yourself, then you get to hear an example response, a really good example response. So you can listen to the recording of the sample response in this section, and the response will also be posted for you on screen so you can see what the speaker is saying. There will also be some notes pointing out some really good aspects of the speaker's response. So take a look at those. My recommendation is to listen to this response a few times and pause the video on each screen so you can read the notes carefully and then listen to what the speaker has to say as they answer each question. Okay, so in just a second, we're going to begin the first part of this lesson, the practice session. So get ready to begin answering questions. What are some of your favorite foods? Does your city or region have any special foods that are unique to that area? Have you learned to like any particular foods from a different culture than your own? What about exercise? What kinds of things do you do to stay healthy? When you see the Task 2 card on the screen, you will have 1 minute to prepare your response before speaking. Let the video play as you plan your response. After 1 minute, you will be instructed to pause your video. Pause your video and provide your answer. Does the weather ever affect your mood? Explain. Now let's talk about travel. Describe a place you visited that was very beautiful. Would you enjoy traveling to a new country by yourself? Explain. What are some of your favorite foods?
I like healthy foods, so I enjoy salad and fresh fruits. My favorite vegetable is cucumber, which I love to eat with hummus or just salt and pepper. However, I do like treats as well. Chocolate ice cream is my favorite dessert.
Does your city or region have any special foods that are unique to that area?
Yes, in my province, people eat a particular type of dumpling on special occasions. It's actually just a normal dumpling filled with meat or vegetables, but we also fill them with a special cheese and cover them in a buttery sauce.
Have you learned to like any particular foods from a different culture than your own?
Yes, I discovered in college that I love food from Vietnam. There's a Vietnamese restaurant near campus that I often went to, especially during the winter. They have a spicy soup called pho that tastes great and feels good to eat when the weather's cold.
What about exercise? What kinds of things do you do to stay healthy?
I try to do at least a little bit of physical activity each day. This is easy to arrange because unless the weather is bad, I usually bike or walk to work. But I also like to go swimming or hiking occasionally. My favorite time of year is definitely autumn. Where I live, autumn brings cool, refreshing weather after the hot summer months. In early fall, the weather stays pretty dry, so it's a great time to do things outdoors. I like to go hiking or camping with friends. My family likes to eat meals in the garden behind our house during this time since the weather is so pleasant. I also love autumn because, in my country, this is the time when the new school year begins after a long summer holiday. My school holds many ceremonies and events at the beginning of the year. This is also a time when new students arrive, so there are new people to meet. I am very social, so I go out of my way to welcome the new students. Another reason I like autumn is this is a time my family often takes a fun vacation. In November, when there's no school for 2 weeks, my family usually travels to the coast to stay in a cabin by the sea. This is one of the only times in the year when we can spend time together without distractions from school or work. My parents work very hard, so they really look forward to this time too. They are always very happy. It makes me feel good that we maintain this autumn tradition each year because it brings us closer together.
Does the weather ever affect your mood? Explain.
Yes, it really does. I live in a place that can get very cold and snowy in the winter. I do like the snow sometimes, but after a few months of freezing temperatures, I am very ready for spring. The cold, dark days make me feel a little down sometimes. It's definitely harder to get out of bed and face the frigid commute to work. But on the other hand, there is nothing better than a warm day with lots of sunshine in the summer. I'd jump out of bed on those days. The sunshine can influence my mood too.
Now let's talk about travel. Describe a place you visited that was very beautiful.
One of the most beautiful places I've ever seen was the island of Santorini in Greece. What I found most attractive were the beautiful white houses built on the side of a steep cliff rising high above the sea. From the top of the cliff, it's possible to see the entire island, which curves around in a half-moon shape. The seawater is an unforgettable deep blue color. It's an amazing place.
Would you enjoy traveling to a new country by yourself? Explain.
It might be nice to travel alone in some ways, but actually, I would prefer to travel with someone else. I guess one advantage to traveling alone would be that I could do whatever I want. I have taken a few trips with friends before. If we have any conflict, it is usually something about the schedule, what museum to visit, or how long to spend doing one activity or another. Traveling alone would remove this problem entirely. But I do think it would get lonely to spend an entire vacation by myself. And I think one of the best things about traveling is sharing the experience and the memories with another person. Traveling with others is preferable for me.